we're going to work on a free trade agreement with Brazil. Brazil's a big trading partner. They charge us a lot of tariffs, but other than that, we love the relationship.
Are you concerned about the health of Russian opposition leader?
The what?
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who apparently might have been poisoned while in prison. Have you heard about that?
I've heard about it. I don't know about it, but I'll about it. This is new. I heard about it last night.
Are you concerned more about the Ratcliffe nomination? You have Democrats and Republicans who say Trump loyalists did not need to be inaugurated.
Well, John Ratcliffe is a brilliant man. He is a wonderful person. I spoke to him long before about this, months ago. I spoke to him long before the Mueller fiasco. That was a fiasco. I think probably nobody in the history of Capitol Hill has embarrassed themselves like what Mueller did to himself and to the Democrats. But John Ratcliffe, I spoke to him about this for a long time. He's a very talented guy. He's a strong man. It's what we need in that position. I am the least racist person there is anywhere in the world. When con men, who I've known almost all my business life, because I had to deal with him, unfortunately, in New York, but I got along with him, Al Sharpton. Now, he's a racist. He's a racist. But when people, let me explain to you. What I've done for African Americans in 2.5 years, no president has been able to do anything like it. Unemployment at the lowest level in the history of our country for African Americans. Nobody can beat that. You look at poverty levels, they're doing better than they've ever done before. So many things, opportunity zones, criminal justice reform. President Obama couldn't get it done. It was done, really the biggest beneficiary probably is African Americans. I got criminal justice reform done. President Obama couldn't get it done. No other president was able to get it done. What I've done for African Americans, no president, I would say, has done. Now, I'll say this. They are so happy because I get the calls. They are so happy at what I've been able to do in Baltimore and other Democratic-run, corrupt cities. The money has been stolen, what they've done. It's been wasted and it's been stolen. Billions and billions of dollars. And the African-American community is so thankful. They've called me and they said, finally, somebody is telling the truth.
Do you think there will be a trade deal with China before November 2020?
Well, I think the biggest problem to a trade deal is China would love to wait and just hope. They hope. It's not going to happen, I hope. But they would just love if I got defeated. So they could deal with somebody like Elizabeth Warren or Sleepy Joe Biden or any of these people. Because then they'd be allowed and able to continue to rip off our country like they've been doing for the last 30 years. China has been taking out hundreds of billions of dollars a year with our country. And now what I've done with the tariffs is, number one, they had the worst year they've had in 27 years. Yesterday's Wall Street Journal, the worst year in 27 years. Companies are leaving China by the thousands, and their prices are coming down. And I will tell you this, China is dying to make a deal with me. But whether or not I'll do it, it's up to me. It's not up to them.
What can you get China to give you this week?
What?
Just this week, what do you think you can get China to give you in the negotiation?
Well, I think China's willing to give up a lot, but that doesn't mean I'm willing to accept it. I think if China had their wish, they'd wait till after the election. They'll pray that Trump loses, and then they'll make a deal with a stiff, somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, like Obama and Biden, like all of the presidents before. Because what they've done is they've just picked our pockets as a nation. That's not happening with Trump. That's okay. Well, I think if that's the case, I'd be shocked. But if that's the case, they're fighting against their people. Because the African-American people have been calling the White House. They have never been so happy as what a president has done. Not only the lowest unemployment in history for African Americans, not only opportunity zones for really the biggest beneficiary, the inner cities, and not only criminal justice reform, but they're so happy that I pointed out the corrupt politics of Baltimore. It's filthy dirty. It's so horrible, and they are happy as hell. So you may have a couple of politicians boycott, but it's all a fix. It's all a fix. The fact is, African-American people love the job I'm doing because I'm working for them. I'm not working for the politicians. Oh, absolutely. It's what he should do, what Elijah Cummings should do, is he should take his oversight committee, bring him down to Baltimore, and invest all of it and really study the billions and billions of dollars that's been stolen. It's been wasted. It's been stolen. They ought to take that beautiful waste of an oversight committee, go down to Baltimore and other Democratic-run cities, and take a look, see if you can find the billions that have been stolen.
They oversee your actions, though, sir.
My relationship with Kim Jong-un is a very good one, as I'm sure you've seen. We'll see what happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I know one thing, that if my opponent was president, if she won, you would be in a major war right now with North Korea. We are nowhere close. So we'll see. I have a good relationship with him. I like him. He likes me. We'll see what happens. At the right time, I'll visit. But the people of Baltimore are very thankful. They have let us know by the thousands of people, because of the fact that finally somebody's pointing out how corrupt Baltimore is, how billions and billions of dollars have been stolen. And the ones that like it the best, what I'm doing, are African-American voters. Those are the ones. Thank you.
All right, we have a lot to get through there already. The president not giving any supporting evidence around the billions of dollars he claims was stolen in Baltimore, and the thousands of African Americans who've reached out to him in thanks. There is no evidence of that. We invite the White House to provide any of that. Back with me, Shannon Pettypiece, Philippe Reines, former Congressman David Jolly, and Jelani Cobb. Jelani, what do you make of the president's comments there? Least racist person in the world.
I mean, it was quite entertaining. So where to start?
That sigh is like, where do you begin? Yes.
So let's start with the actual numbers. He's saying that African Americans love him and that we're so grateful for what he's doing. Yet somehow it seems that African Americans themselves are unaware of this. His approval rate with black voters is 5%. Cinco. This many. And beyond that, Elijah Cummings' approval ratings have consistently been high. That's how he has the incumbency rate that he has in his district. So that doesn't seem to add up on the face of it. There's the other question about him alleging corruption, which is also so strange, because what we know about the president's record, I mean, there's a criticism to his political character that we've seen for a long time, which is accuse other people of the things that you're guilty of. But we've had these questions going back to Trump University and the donations he made around trying to avoid prosecution and whether or not that was what happened. And the New York Times covering the $400 million in income taxes that he was able to avoid paying, and the nepotistic appointment of his family members to positions. And we can kind of walk through the churn of money that comes through his hotels from foreign governments trying to curry favor with him, the number of his cabinet members who've had to step down. I mean, Ben Carson getting in trouble, getting an ethical rebuke for trying to decorate his office as if it was something from MTV Cribs.
$30,000 for a dining room table in a hut.
We could just go on. There's literally too much. You don't have enough time for us to lay out all the ways in which he's culpable of the things that he's accusing Baltimore of. And so it is, it's the same thing that we've seen before, but no, none of that holds up.
You're right. We don't have enough time. Fortunately, this is cable news, and there's a lot more hours ahead. Jelani, thank you so much. I'm sorry. We're all out of time. Shannon, Philippe, Congressman Jolly, I appreciate you joining me this morning. That wraps up this hour. I'm Stephanie Ruhle. Coming up right now, more news with Hallie Jackson. Ms. Jackson, I don't know what you were planning to do in the next hour.